What's good, people? This is T Hoodie in Japan, back here to give you another video. Uh, how you doing, guys? Maybe this is a little bit late than usual, but no one's really paying attention right now, so everything's all good. Before I get to the topic, I just wanted to give a bit of a story time. About a few days ago, my wife decided she was gonna go hang out with a friend, former co-worker. So I was stuck with my kids, just me and the kids. Upon that, I took them to the park. We actually went to two parks, but all that's beside the point. Anyway, as I was playing with the kids, and I was kind of instructing them what to do and not to do, suddenly I hear, "Fuck! Shut the fuck up!" I'm looking around, like, talking to me. Gotta be talking to me. I'm the only English speaker here. Shut the fuck up! Kind of closer next to me, and there's this like boy about 7, 8 years old looking at me with this nonchalant face, just walking past me. And then he said it one more time, "Shut the fuck up!" So, that being disrespectful to say, I basically told the kid in my best Japanese, and I realized that it was kind of a little bit inaccurate to say the way I said it, but I said something like, "So now, upon hindsight, well, not hindsight, but upon being corrected, my wife basically said you have to basically say "itte wa dame," like basically saying that is no good. That's basically how Japanese say that. But I end up saying "ionayo" or something like that. Like, don't say that, because that's how English people say that. So, that's a bit of a tip for Japanese learners, and also update on my progress of improving my Japanese. But anyway, at the time when I was observing the boy, and before I actually reacted and told him not to say that, I didn't see any parents around him. But after me saying that, then the father came. Now, I wasn't sure what was going to happen, whether he was going to defend the kid or not, because most parents usually defend their kids. They don't really do a lot of discipline. I've never seen too many fathers or mother discipline. As a matter of fact, I've seen more mothers discipline than I've seen the fathers discipline their child. But however, this guy was like dressed kind of I want to say hip hop-ish, like for any black Americans out here, probably back in the maybe like the early 2000s or maybe 2010s, like the leather jacket, super colorful, got all the patches on and so on and so forth. So he was wearing that. He had a bald head, some kind of baggy jeans or something like that. So he was kind of dressing kind of American hip hop-ish. So I was like, let's see what happens. Maybe he's kind of influenced by America, so maybe he disciplined his kids better. So he basically came to me. He was like, "Dosu no," and I basically said in the best Japanese, like, "Oh, your kid," basically saying, "Shut the fuck up." And that's the equivalence to saying, and I basically gave him what I feel my equivalence of saying that in Japanese is. And I know I'm gonna upset some people because they was probably thinking they was gonna hear some kind of, oh, he fought a Japanese guy. Oh, no, there was nothing like that. Basically, he was like, oh, well, he's a boy, and he probably saw something on TV, and he decided to copy it. And I was like, listen, I understand that. Like, my children do that too. They see something on TV and they want to copy it. However, you shouldn't say that, especially to other foreigners who understand that meaning. And instead of, he didn't really even apologize, to be honest. He was just saying, making excuses for the boy, and then it was like, okay, whatever. I warned him, and I told him, don't say that. Whatever he does in the future is on him. And he just, he smiled and said bye-bye and walked away. And I don't think he liked me talking to his kid, and then also like standing up for me and my kid as he approached me. I thought maybe he thought I was gonna back down or something, because he kind of seemed upset, and I think I had a feeling like he wasn't talking good about me when he approached his other family members. But here's the point. A little tip for a lot of you, especially if you have children. Don't let anyone stand in the way of how you want to protect you and your children. And this is especially important at this time where there's a lot of things going on, which I will get into in the future. Stand 10 toes down when it comes to your children. Don't let any children talk to you. Don't let any adults, whether you're in Japan or anywhere, talk to your children any type of way. Don't let any kids talk to your kids any type of way. Stand 10 toes down and be like, no, this is unacceptable. And also on top of that, be sure to teach your kids yourself how to defend themselves, whether it be verbally or if it calls for physically, if you need to physically defend yourself. Because even in Japan, it's getting crazy, and it's going to get more crazy, but we'll talk about that for another time. Okay, now 7 minutes in. Sorry for that supposedly short story. That wasn't really much of a short story, but maybe I'll turn it into a short or something, and hopefully it'll get me more views. But anyway, the topic we're going to talk today is about inconvenience. And when I mean inconvenience that everyday things that you might have to, and again, I'm talking on the perspective as an American, things that was super easy in my country, but for some reason isn't in Japan, despite that most people think that Japan is super advanced. What do I mean by that? Well, let's start with this point. One, a lot of things in Japan has not been digitalized. What I mean by that, a lot of Japanese, instead of putting things saved on computers, saved and stored in computers, everything is paper. Japan still deals with a lot of paper. Why? I was gonna say why, I don't know, but I kind of do understand for a little bit. But everything is done paper. When you have to register and get your visa, that's a lot of paperwork that you don't do that on. There's no way to do that online or anything. Any of the paperwork. At best, with a computer, all you're doing is printing out the paperwork, but at the end of the day, you're still writing, and then you still got to turn it over to the immigration ward, whether you physically send it out or in some cases during the process of getting some kind of visa, they'll give you the opportunity to mail it. And that's what you're gonna have to deal with often. let's talk about a little bit more progressive things progressing and settling into Japan. Um, your driver's license. Um, a lot of places nowadays you could just take the test on some kind of computer or notepad and so on and so forth. No, everything is paperwork. You take a test, it's paper. When you have to take these classes, is someone being there, more paper, you need a pencil, so on and so forth. A whole bunch of paperwork. Now, what else did I'm trying to, before I even move on, what else I need to figure. Oh my god, I'm losing myself. Basically, when you're, let's go to everyday stuff, some things that you need to do, as you might already know. Japan is still a cash society, meaning that you gotta use bills and coins. It's getting better with accepting credit cards, and then they have other things like the IC cards, meaning like the Suica and the Passmo. If you're from New York City, it's like what I mean by IC card, it's like the new Oni card that you could use with your metro, the new metro, New York City transportation. So you could do that. And then even now they finally got where with the Suica you could kind of basically have it attached to your phone and quickly make payments through your credit card or whatever the case may be. So they are improving on stuff like that, but they're still way behind as far as at least America is concerned. Paying bills. For the longest time, I've been used to paying bills online. At the best, I'm never worrying about paying bills because every day they just take money out. They just take money out of my account. All I have to do is go online and set it up. One time, done deal. As long as I'm getting paid, I have nothing to worry about. Money's getting taken out of my account. Japan is not quite there yet, unfortunately. There are some things that gets taken out of my account. For example, actually, what gets taken out of my account nowadays? Well, at one point, when I was paying rent, it was the rent that was getting taken out of my account. Maybe there was something else getting taken out of my account, but most of the things, unfortunately, you can't even pay it online. How it basically goes is that you get mailed a piece of paper. This piece of paper is going to have, I guess, a barcode and the amount, whatever bill you got to pay, whether it be electric bill, water bill, car loan, whatever you need to pay. And most of the time, you're going to have to go to a konbini, a convenience store. You take that paper, they'll scan it, and then they'd be like, okay, you have to pay this much. And unfortunately, you would think that, okay, I have to go to the convenience store. At least over there, I could, pay by credit card or by debit card at least, right? No, you're gonna have to pay by cash. And now that I think about it, a lot of times, for some reason, Japan don't differentiate between a debit card and a credit card. Man, I guess maybe that's a partial reason why. But yeah, you're gonna have to pay that cash. So, when we talk about cash-based society, yes, every time you have a paycheck, you're gonna have to take a lot of cash out because one, you're gonna have to pay bills, in which a lot of your bills you're gonna have to go to the convenience store, give them the paper, and give them and pay by cash. So, unfortunately, it is what it is. If you're not doing that, some bills you might have to just I remember one time, I believe when I was living in Kawasaki, my wife had to go to the bank. No, I think that was a little bit different. I think that was getting paid a little bit differently off of her bank account, and she just needed to be refilled. So, but yeah, that's mainly the thing that you're gonna have to often go to the convenience and pay. The biggest issue is, and well, let me start saying this. When I was when I was still living in America, everything was super simple. Like my bank was Chase, and as you know, if you have Chase or probably any other bank in America, the apps are super convenient. Like you could do basically everything on the app. You go to the app, you log in, you see your checking and your saving. If you wanted to send money, you could do that too. If you wanted to transfer money here or open up a new bank account or whatever you wanted to do on that app, you could do it. At least for Chase, but I'm pretty sure like Bank of America and all that have that too. And you don't really have that here in Japan. And this is, from what I understand, it's because Japan is very slow with programming. I don't understand what it is with Japanese and programming. From what I told, like Japanese like do not respect programmers. Like programmers, at least back then. I don't know about recently. Maybe they're getting better. Maybe they're getting more acknowledgement, so try to catch up. But from what I heard, programmers are not that well respected, and I would even say that's the case now, because when you look at their websites, when you look at the apps, it's super outdated. Like we're talking 2000s. Like the websites and the apps look like something that you would deal with in the 2000s when back in America or any other Western country where they was like just getting started on trying to make apps and make them as convenient as possible, but going through trials and errors. That's what Japan is going through right now. So yes, like for example, my bank is Mizuho, and yeah, Mizuho do have an app, but I don't even bother with it. Even if I spoke perfect Japanese, I wouldn't even bother with it because it's so complicated. As a matter of fact, doing simple things and connecting to my bank account, like the way they do security, is so complicated, and it's non-digital. It's just so ridiculous. It's just quite sad. And talk about security, the Hanko thing. If you know what a Hanko is basically your a signature stamp. You in Japan, you have to buy a stamp that's gonna maybe imprint your name on it or your initials or whatever the case may be. You buy the Hanko, you can have it designed however you want it. I have one in Japanese. For me, it's only in katakana because I'm American. But I also have a big English printed stamp that I also have too. And instead of most people do signatures, right? And And I guess because cursive is like it's very difficult to forward someone else's signature. But Japan, a lot of the times, like if you need to do something very important, like something with the bank, or maybe phones, maybe phone contracts too, and other contracts like that, you're gonna need a hanko. Like you can't just do a signature. I guess unfortunate because the way Japanese characters it's more easy to forge. That's the only thing I could guess. But yeah, you can't just you're gonna need a hanko for most things, and not everything. Like for example, when someone's delivering something to you, when you sign, you just sign any type of way, whether it be English or if you want to do it in Japanese or katakana, hiragana, or in your kanji if you're Japanese, that's fine. But when you're doing more important things, you're gonna need that hanko. If you forget that hanko, then you basically screwed for that day, and it is good. It is. So, and honestly, with the hanko thing, and like I said, because it's convenient for us because cursive, like I said, it's hard to really forge someone else's signature. But Japan, they deal with a whole different system, so I don't know what they're gonna do about it. I kind of wonder what other countries do, like for example, Korea, and their Hangul, Korean language, what they do. Maybe I'll research that later. But Japan, I don't know what they're gonna do about that. But yeah, it's just a lot of inconvenience about everyday life that you kind of take for granted in America, but then you go to Japan and then you realize, oh, this is kind of annoying. I kind of miss this way of things, so on and so forth. And a lot of it doesn't even make any sense. It's just Japan being held back by 20, 30 years. And how are they going to fix that? I don't know. I don't think that's going to be fixed until they get rid of their hierarchy. This senpai kohai thing is really slowing them down, if you ask me. But that's not up for me to fix. That's up for them to fix. The only reason I'm even this invested is because I have children that are Japanese, whether the Japanese want to accept them or not, they're still Japanese. So I'm doing my best to protect my kids. But yeah. Anything else that I miss out? I really don't want to close this out. And then there's something else I want to rant about. It's too late. And then I'd be like, oh man. And then I'd be like, oh well, there's nothing I could do about it. And because I don't know. What are we gonna talk about? That Japan still using fax machines. I think most people kind of know that Japan is using fax machines and emails and stuff like that. Yeah, and I guess I'll talk about delivery. A lot of delivery places, like, they still use paper. Like, before I left America, like FedEx and UPS was using a machine where you could just write your signature on it, and it's digital and you good to go. But yeah, they still use paper for whatever reason. Same with like other things, like for example the cable company and stuff like that. Because fun fact, I used to work at a cable company before I moved to Japan. And so the cable technician comes, and their equipment looks way more outdated than what my company was using. Mind you, my company just started, like, before I left, my company just started getting into fiber. Like, because mind you, Verizon started out with fiber. Like, my company, it's Cablevision is Optimum now. Oh, I'm sorry. Optimum is the branch. The whole umbrella is I forgot what the name is now. Altice, yeah. Altice bought off Cablevision, so Altice. Anyway, Altice. They just started with fiber, and then they have to figure out how to do a hybrid mixing between coaxial and fiber optics and stuff. So like in terms of infrastructure, my company was way behind, but when it comes to equipment, Japanese equipment is quite outdated. Like it don't make any sense. Like when I was a technician, I was using a tablet. Eventually, they took the tablet and gave us like a iPhone. So in that way, we could just use the phone, and then we have all our paperwork on the app. All our customers that we need to go to on the phone. You can start it or start the job, close the job. You want them to write a signature, it's digital. You pull it up where they write the signature here on this phone. Sign right here. Oh, thank you very much. Everything on a piece of a phone. But not Japan. They're still far behind. They're trying to make things as complicated and as inconvenient as possible. Because that's Japan. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like this, man. All that hype that y'all been hearing about Japan, y'all need to stop it. I mean, yes, Japan got some cool, quirky stuffs, and that's why I moved here. I like a lot of the quirky stuff. Sometimes you go to specific areas, not everywhere. You go to specific areas. They got some robot serving food and other stuff like that. They got cool vending machines that we don't have in America. And the only reason why we don't have that in America is because because you leave a vending machine outside, nothing attended, and there's definitely someone who's going to be looting that. Someone's going to be breaking into that and stealing all the drinks and stuff, or whatever's in the vending machine. That is the only reason why America don't have vending machines outside unattended. If we didn't have such a looting problem, a stealing and robbing problem, then we would have those vending machines. We would have those same vending machines, and probably even better. I just want to give you guys a wake-up call. These vending machines are not because Japan is technically better than us. It's because us Americans and probably other Western countries have this habit of being thieves and criminals and stuff like that. Which, by the way, Japan is getting there. Like, as the yen go down, Japan ain't gonna be this safe country that everybody claims it's been. It never really been like this super safe country in the beginning, but when it comes to robberies and stealing and stuff, that's definitely gonna get a lot worse because the economy is getting worse and the yen is going down and wages is not going up. So when you have all that hardship, and especially with the pressure that Japan pushes out, all that pressure, having to do make fake smiles and this surface this facade that you're this perfect person and with this perfect family and you're so polite and friendly and stuff like that, and you struggling, they're gonna be like, forget all that. It was okay when we was a super rich country. The yen was more powerful than the dollar, and I could buy everything I want. Now it's not like that anymore. Ain't no reason for me to be acting this way anymore. This is not me. Screw all that. And that's basically what's going to happen in Japan. That's already happened in Japan. But we'll talk more about that when I talk about crime and stuff. And since I did that and strayed away from inconvenience and stuff, we're going to end it right there. So, yeah. I said a lot of things today. Thank you for listening. If you made it this long, we're in about 30 minutes, minus the opening and the closing. I hope you enjoyed whatever I had to say. If you don't, or rather if you didn't, I'll try to do better next time. That's all I could do. Alright, this is T Hoodie in Japan. Finishing this video, signing out. Peace.